Thank you very much, Engineer Brown, for that very wonderful sponsors remark. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, SB. Okay, we are cool. SB. I can't see my DJ near me. DJ, if you can hear me, please do come there. Now, just have your name. All right, so we'll be going right ahead to the next item program, and it's going to be outlining a journey of SB as a section. Okay, now to do this is one very great professional that happen to know, and to go further in this event, we'll be taking first the keynote address, and we are so happy to have the presence of SB Council Chair is joining us online for this very wonderful event. Join me with a clap as I welcome the council chair. But before he comes up, we'll be taking the bio for the council chair. Item. All right. So, Engineer Felix Obike, as his address, as well garnered over 31 years of industry and academic experience in completions and well intervention, well integrity, production operations, and an SME in artificial lift, gas lifting code. He obtained his undergraduate degree in petroleum engineering from the Federal University of Technology of Welling, and a master's degree in energy and petroleum economics from Delta State University, Abraka. Engineer Obike is currently the chairman of the SBA Nigerian Council after holding several leadership positions in SBA sections in Nigeria. He is a Korean and NSE registered engineer and also an associate member of the Energy Institute, London. Engineer Obike has spent several years and rose to senior petroleum engineer and operations manager. Okay, IT. Can you help with that? Apologies, please. Okay, he has spent several years and rose to the position of a senior petroleum engineer and operations manager at MVAL Nigeria Limited before joining Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC. Engineer Obike has also spent over 2 decades working for Shell in Nigeria, where he retired at a managerial level before proceeding to ADNOC. He is currently a well service manager at Seplat Energy. And it is with so much honor that I stand to make welcome our keynote speaker for the day. And I will ask that we please give a round of applause as we welcome Engineer Felix Obike for the keynote speech. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. All speech is yours, sir. Okay, so we can see you online. Can we just see it?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay, fine. Good morning, everyone. I believe you can hear me now, right? Hello.
So go ahead.
There is a lot of echo in your background. Yeah. Okay, fine. Good morning, everyone. Let's just make do with this. Sorry, I'm not able to be with you. I had a lot of commitments, official wise, and that was actually why I'm not there in person. But I'm there in spirit. I mean, Section 104 is been my own personal section before I became the council chair. So I can do without the section, yeah, and have full support of the section wherever I am. Thanks, everyone. I'll just read a keynote, a very short keynote address, and then we proceed. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary of our section, SP 104, worry. And Chairman, SP Nigerian Council Board of Trustees, SP Nigerian Council Board of Trustee members, present and virtual, SP Regional Director for Africa, our own Mrs. Owefion, Council members, Directors of SP Warri Section, distinguished members of SP, invited guests, gentle ladies, and of course, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Sorry. Oh God. Hello.
We can hear you.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Did you guys start to hear me when I was giving my speech? Okay, fine. Maybe I'll need to go back again. Hello.
Go on, sir. We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Sorry.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, let me just start from beginning. I'm sorry. I do welcome everyone to dig our 25th anniversary of SPA Warwick section. It is a journey, and I believe the journey is worth it. We have grown SPE, and there's a lot that we have done for Warwick section, and I give kudos to everyone that has made it happen to date. But let me just read a small keynote address before I can go on. Chairman, SP Nigerian Council Board of Trustees, our own Mr. Emeka Ene, SP Nigerian Council Board of Trustees, members present and virtual, SP Regional Director for Africa, our own Mrs. Awoefiam, the First Lady of SP Africa, Council members, Directors of SP Warri Section, distinguished members of SPE, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I want to congratulate SPE Warri Section for putting this technical symposium together. As the chairman of SPE Nigerian Council, I do not belong to any section, in quotes. But however, I indeed belong to SPE Warri Section. My career started there in Warri, and I'm glad that the energy that propelled some of us to where we are today has been sustained over the years. It's awesome to be in Warri. I was impressed when I saw the theme for this year's annual technical symposium, Achieving Energy Security in Nigeria, the role of regulators and industry stakeholders. For me, Nigeria is still energy poor, and today we are deliberating on energy security. By energy security, it means that the energy source or sources may be, or must be, rather, be available, accessible, affordable, and acceptable. That's the 4 A's. Now, in fulfilling these requirements comes with the need for effective and holistic regulatory responsibilities. In addition, there is a need for best practices by active players in the industry. SP Section 104, by developing the theme for this event, has delved into a very important core aspect of achieving the 4 A's, as I call them: available, accessible, affordable, and acceptable, of energy security, and I commend you for this. I need you to put your hands together for SP 104. It is very good for us to really know that we have capable people there that can deliver. Yeah, and so that's why you guys have this I'm having this keynote address with you, trying to address this particular topic. Yeah, seasoned industry experts have been assembled to share ideas on this topical issue around the role of regulations in energy security. Therefore, I welcome you to stay true, learn, interact, and of course, participate fully. And I once again congratulate SPE Warri Section, of course, who is chaired and who is led by our own amiable engineer, Mrs. Magdalene Omo, for putting this event together, and wish everyone a fruitful deliberation. And of course, we're celebrating our 35th anniversary of SP 104. And I wish you success in your endeavors. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Well,
To a point energy reach, but there is a process once you get into that, and that is one of the points of the thing that we are here to discuss: the role of regulators and stakeholders, industry stakeholders, towards getting Nigeria to that energy reach point. And another thing that our regulators now and the industry stakeholders must put in mind is the fact of the 4 A's he mentioned. Energy that we are looking to have must be available. We must make sure we have it, and it must be accessible. In that part of accessibility, we must think of innovative ways to extract that energy source, and it must be affordable. And apart from that, must be accountable as well. So thank you very much, Council Chair, for that very awesome keynote speech. Now to take us further in the journey of the celebration of SPE Warri at 35 through the annual technical symposium, we are going to be taking a technical lecture, and it is going to be outlining the journey of SPE Warri 35. and the title is 35 Years of SPE 104 in Warri, Historical and Future Impacts to Delta State, Warri, and Environment. So before we call the person who is going to be giving us that very awesome presentation, we'll be taking the bio item. All right, so the very personality that is going to be giving us this very awesome presentation is the person of Engineer Alex Nege. Now, Engineer Alex is the Chief Executive Officer of Gatmok Nigeria Limited. He retired from Chevron Nigeria Limited after 28 years of service, and served briefly at Adax Petroleum Development. Alex was awarded a distinguished member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers International, SPEI, in 2011, and Chairman Board of Trustees, Society of Petroleum Engineers Nigerian Council in 2012. He was elected as the SPE International Board Africa Regional Director in 2003, and appointed as Chairman, Career Guidance and Student Development, CG and SD for SPE Worldwide from 2002 to 2003. Engineer Alex was elected as Chairman SPE Nigerian Council from 1998 to 1999. This is such an honor. For some of us, maybe by then we were still kids. Now, Engineer Alex has authored several technical papers, and he has a distinguished leadership quality through which it has enabled the entire project to be localized within 2 years instead of the planned 5-year timeframe. Engineer Alex led the first dump plug reservoir injection project in Chevron's Idama field. This project increased production from 250 barrels per day. The facility remains in production till date. You can see part of the innovative ideas that we are looking for. He was appointed visiting professor of petroleum engineering at the African University of Science and Technology, AUST, in Abuja, 2009. He is a member of the Advisory Board, Institute of Petroleum Studies, IPS, in the University of Port Harcourt. So much wealth of knowledge that is going to be speaking to us at this very moment. If I get our agreement, can we please stand as we make welcome Engineer Alex Nege for the presentation for the experience for the alternative company. Moving on onto his very much like myself.
Thank you. According to him, all protocols duly observed. That's what the politician is saying. One of the second set in the University of Benin. But I don't have a degree from there because after about 2 years, I got a US government scholarship to study petroleum engineering in Texas A&M, so I left. At the A&M, it is mandatory as a student in petroleum engineering from the very day you step in, you're automatically a member. And not just a member drifting around, you participate actively. So from that point, SPE international conferences, section meeting in Houston, because here is about 90 miles from Houston. So we have to come to Houston monthly for the meeting, then go to New Orleans for conference, Denver. So it's something we've been doing as students. And that's where we developed the habit to, you must write 2 technical papers before you graduate. In the student chapter, then the final one, which is the one you want to use in graduating, will be supervised by the general managers or presidents in engineering in all the oil companies around, like Mobil, Epson, Gulf, all of them we assemble as students. It's normally very frightening. And that presentation is like, it's the 6 hours course So if you fail it, 6 hours course is what and it will be very interesting. And for us Nigerians, I have one of my classmates late now. That was where I found out that a certain group of people in the country pronounce Q as cure. So this my friend, we met at the same scholarship. He made his presentation. Cure zero, cure O, and things like that. So people said, what is he saying? And my friend, he was quivering. He said, am I going to fail this 6 hours course? It was Professor Dick Moss that came up and said, he's saying Q-O, QG, and everybody felt, because they were not listening again, just hearing that cure, But I tell you, it's good for students, because at that point, just right on the ground, and you are facing vice president, general managers, engineering, and you just try to get the first degree. So those are the type of things that really encourage us and say, hey, if this is what it takes, we're going to this. So from the US, they're presenting papers, not rejected papers and all that. But basically, we're talking about war research. I remember vividly late Tunikwede, who was the principal of PTI. I also remember Engineer Dimabu Akwebo. He was the manager in Otis. Then they now created his own company as Middle Top. And he was teaching in Uniport too. I used to come to Uniport to teach. People like Abie, we taught them. And he absorbed Abie for his first job as a wireline operator through the same SP link. And I was the engineering supervisor, so I came to Scrabbles and was working with the wireline crew. So that tell you, for the students, this is the place you can catch them. The real big people that will help you in the future. So if you blend with them here now, it makes the future easier for you. I remember when I came back 79, I just went into the SP, they had a conference in the Federal Palace. And the conference went on, we were discussing about oil and prices and things like that. We told them then that, look, you cannot operate separately here in Nigeria because we have one Diku as the Minister of Petroleum there. And they feel Nigeria, this is an international business, so you must be ready to expose yourself to what the international play is. There's no separate price anywhere. And that's what we're still facing today. So I'm just pleading with those of you young ones. When you go into the industry, try to make people understand that this business is not selling of gari and crayfish. This is an international business, and there are rules to it. So that's why we end up carrying on gari sellers, minister here, minister there, and we just drift. That shouldn't happen. Even in the US, as educated as they are, when you have a national issue or whatever, it is a national issue. They go into the industry and pick them, they are citizens, Americans. Come here, we have this problem, come and solve it. When you finish, go back to the country. Yeah, it's not done. They look at those of you in the industry as separate people. We in NMPC, we are the Nigerians, and they don't have the capability to solve the problem. So we have to change that mindset of saying, when we have national issues, irrespective of company affiliation, we should be able to go and pick our top brains in the respective areas and assemble them to solve our problems. And that is what SP really stands for. And worry here is not a different thing. PTI was the home of SP conference because Nigbede was the principal of the school and he was a die-hard SP person. And all the revenue you generate as taxes from employees and all that will disappear. So it is best to ensure that your company stay back here. They thought I was joking. And gradually, Shell moved out, others moved out. Where is the revenue? It's gone. Look at this good facility here. It's begging for people to come. But once you create that confusion in the minds of people, for them to turn around and say they are coming, you're going to walk almost 1 million times better. Because the confidence is gone. I was born in this town here. Even primary, secondary school, everything here. I tell you, 1 o'clock in the night, you move from a place near us here. Little 9 o'clock in the cemetery, you walk freely, even with your eyes closed. Nobody everything turned the other way around. But I'm hoping that this town will change. I'm praying seriously that in my lifetime, this town should regain what we used to know it. This is a place nobody cared where you come from. We had outside classes provide for everybody in my school. Those who went for the war, when they came back, we donated clothes for them. They were like our own brothers. That is how we knew this country. Unlike what we see now, like the jungle. But I still hope that God will make it possible for this to come back. For SP in Warri, 35 years, it's a long story. I can't recall all the names of all the section chairmen, but they've been struggling. I can't see Ogedegbe here. Where is Ogedegbe? Akbere is on the way, you know. I was late because we have to do Maroli. Because the road we thought leads to this place, it turned out it was a dead end. Akbere is still in the traffic too, trying to navigate. A lot of them, you know. Those were the people that really start pushing the place, and up till now, they're still there. And one thing with SP, once you are an SP member, it is still there to do your part. You know, because you want to see young people acquire education, do what you do best, and do better. Once you have that drive in you as student, it takes you on. So a lot of us, we are, as we are a member of NSC, and we fellow for more than 30 years of NSC. But the function of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and that of SP are opposite ends. Like you said, SP has contributed more to this country than any other organization that call themselves engineering. Look at the PIB. It was SP that become PIA. Look at Nigerian content. It's SP. Look at marginal field. It's SP 1999, where I was the council chairman. We gave 19-page document to Lukman to use to run this country oil and gas industry. And that's where you have your PIA, was PIB. So look, those of us who work in the US and environment, we know when you get to a place like Houston or New Orleans, you will know this is an oil producing environment. It is not showing here. So there is need to bring that back. And that's how the PIB started. Lukman, very humble person, for 7 days was with us in Abuja, every minute of the day, and taking notes by himself as minister. And that 19-page document we gave to him was what he was using to run the country. Nigeria would have been out of effect that very year. And we stood there and said, no. He said, how am I going to do it? If I appear as minister and say, you say because it's a minister, Alex, what can you do? I said, we can organize a conference. So SP went ahead and organized a conference. And most of the ministers were present. I was part of the panelists. And what we did was make them realize that Saudi reserve is 1 million times more than ours. How do you belong to such a club? Price per barrel was $22. And that's what we are budgeting on. Then we walk in there and say, okay, America said they will give us a jet of fighters. They will give us a machine for upgrade. They will give us, they promise us all kinds of things. The same thing with France and all that. When they do that and we accept and say we are living back, the barrel is still $22 a barrel. That's what the budget. The Saudi people will feel insulted. You have other OPEC countries. The Saudi can drop the price of oil to $6 a barrel. So they drop the price $6 per barrel, and your budget is on $22 a barrel. They are toast. So what's going to happen is they wipe you out. Then the people who encourage you to get out will now buy the price at that $6 and stockpile. Those of you who fly to the US, if you're crossing the Rocky Mountains over to San Francisco, at that altitude, you'll be seeing something like circles. I don't know whether you can see. You try to cross from this side of the Rocky Mountains, going to San Francisco, around the Arizona area, you see all those circles. Those circles, they are reserves, underground reserves. There's so many. Anytime you fly across that place, try to look, you're going to see some, they just like grains all over the place. So they buy your oil at $6, go there and stockpile it. Meanwhile, the people say they are giving you a machine to do this and that. Your budget is $22 a barrel, it's now $6. You will become a slave and they'll carry your oil and go away. So that was what we told the government. I was one of those who made the mention of them. You only roast yourself if you agree to that. Let us stay here. We go and tell Craig, we need added water. One, Nigerians, they are producing exponentially, which is our population is going in exponential ratio. It's not just a straight line, it's exponential, which is very fast. And we need money to cope with that population. So give us more water. We can also do marginal fields. The fields that the oil company says is no good, give it to people. People will go in there and work on it. They will increase the result. Once the result base is increased, we get more water. So those are two ways. So we gave 3 suggestions the government can use to stop OPEC, which government did. They increased our OPEC water, and he carried out that marginal field. The first marginal field round they gave out, I was one of those who led the NNPC to draft the document how it should be. There's no point in the signature bonus, if you look at it, for small amounts, very small, to encourage people, because the big time Chevron and all that, they started like small toy companies. So if you keep the marginal out to these young Nigerians coming up with this, and then they can grow up to be a bigger company. Give them marginal fee, they operate it well. You extend, give them something else, then they start building up. But that concept is gone. It's gone because at some point, the marginal fee is given out from man to man. And when you have the paper, you start going to OTC, have a marginal fee, pulling it around and looking for investors. To got to a point in OTC, Nigeria became like jokers in the place. Because they go around and so empty, so marginal fee. It didn't take the Americans and foreigners to know easily that these are scams. And that really brought us down. If we had faced it the way we proposed it, by now, some of these marginal fuel companies will have grown to be like the Gulf and the ExxonMobil and whatever. CSEPLA, for example, started, but at the end of the day, typical Nigerian business, see all what is happening. We must be ethical. Like you mentioned, as engineers, we must be ethical. That's the only way we can prove that we are engineers. And to the members of the Maurice section, I think you've done very well. I should be in the position to be attending your functions more often, but you bear with me because I do a lot of other things. I go to Kupri, deliver lecture, sometimes invite me to places, but I'm really impressed that you all keep it back mind. We'll continue to back you up. The young ones, it's a long journey to get to 35. The baton is now on you to run with the ball. And I'm sure you will do the running very well. I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to make this presentation. Like they mentioned, I've served in all capacities in SP. The highest award you can get SP is honorary member. And I got that in the no more award. I don't pay any dues anyway. Most of the conferences I go to, all I need to do, give them my number, honorary member, I just go, no dues, anywhere SBA exists. And those are the type of things, the benefits. I've been in the board for 3 years. The picture is so when they see oh, you are so person, just go here. Even at OTC. It's just like anybody can be there. If they go back to SP, they get. We have NSC, I think, petroleum engineering section now. And when I read what they write there, because they were not there, SP was doing this. Yeah, he has some game plan. SP is SP, and NSC is NSC. So it is very necessary. We should be focused as SP and do what we do best. Dissemination of information, knowledge, and how to build a credible industry. It is tough to do here, but the little you can do, look at the young man there, I know from what long before as a student, So you put in the best and do your own bit and go. You satisfy your conscience. That's the bottom line. Irrespective of what the government is doing, you should be ethical and do what you do best. Don't say because this one is stealing and making this and making that, you want to. That's not the engineering. As a professional, be ethical. I stand here, I've left the industry, I left Chevron 2005. ADAX took me. I said only 3 years because I want my freedom. 3 years, get out of the place. Nobody in this industry can stand before me and say I took 1 penny bribe from them. Cannot happen. It doesn't mean people didn't come to do that. I just say it's not ethical. Look at Niger Delta with Alec Adams. I was the one that awarded the field to them. A typical Nigerian will have shares in the company. If you don't do this for me, you won't get that. Paul Fatuna has, even all the obstacles he had, I have to help them to be able to produce a weather field. Today, they are very stable. So those are the type of things you want to see, not how much money you grab from people. How much food can you eat? It's a big question we have to ask ourselves. So all this grabbing and grabbing, millionaires, you cannot drive freely. You are hiding, you have to be escorted with a bomb vehicles following you and all that. It's none of my business. I get into the car, I drive it anywhere. I can jump down anywhere. I can stop by all primary school classmates and group. Doesn't mean anything to me. So I implore you to keep the spirit going and stay firm. The weather could be rough, but to get down at some point. I thank your courage for putting up this show. God bless everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, can we rise and put a round of applause to Engineer Alex? We are so honored by your presence, sir, and the very much wealth of knowledge you've shared with us. Yes, we can have our seats. Thank you very much, sir. We're so grateful. And you agree with me that so much knowledge has been spent out. If we were really listening, so much knowledge has been spelled out. For online participants, indulge that you please stay glued to your screens, because if you stay away, you might lose out a lot. You might lose out a lot. So, seeing the amount of knowledge that we have just from this very particular session, you agree that there might be some prompts that will come into you that you might want to really ask. So, with the section chair's permission, we'll be taking 2 or 3 questions before we proceed. Yes. So, if we have people who have questions from the presentation so far, you can just signify. Okay, just 2 questions. So if you have, quickly raise your hands before another person goes before you. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands yet. Questions? Our student members? No questions? Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, we have one already.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Engineer Lesney, for this speech. Something caught my attention. Yeah, you said you've recruited like 100 persons into SPE. Yeah, how are you able to do that? 100 persons. Like me, I'm struggling to recruit. I think I'm under 15. So just tell us the trick we are using. I think when I got the first 5, SPE gave me, I think, lapel or something, you know. Yeah, I like that it's a milestone of 5% or so. Yeah, and now you've got 200. Please share with us the trick you use. Thank you, sir.
You have friends. Like today dinner, for example, the former managing director of the Chevron medical director, inviting him to come. So I recruited him. I'm just telling you that, you know, every person that works within the industry would be a member of SPE. Lawyers, accountants, engineers, geologists, all so long they are within the oil industry, because it's a synergy. This industry is not, the core people are the PEs, but the ancillary branches around it is heavy. So you must co-op them. I remember the guy we have in Abuja, the pilots. No, the captain. Yes, the first aircraft. He's a member of SPE, and it's one of the most active SPE members we have in Abuja. He works for NNPC. So you can recruit as many people. The other way too, you go back to the school. If you use this, there by the time they are graduating, because at one time it was difficult for students to pay their dues. Fortunately, I was in the international board there. So for Africa, all the students work with Snowbridge. So all African students, wherever they are, and I'm looking at salary structure. My salary was high, okay, I can pay. But when you take my salary at the point I was there, and look at somebody who is a fresh engineer. So we did all that to lower the price, then went for that okay, let the oil companies pay the dues of their members. You know, by the time you're doing all that, you are encouraging more people. And you see some people come, so like, can you just sign, you know, I say, why not? You know, so before you know it, there's so many of them, like Bukoya, Tony. Tony was a student in PTI then, you know, and he did NYC, then we encouraged him. So even coming as IT and all that, with that, they started getting ideas. So by the time he was finishing school, he was already recruiting people. So he started working inside recruiting. It didn't take him time to get 100. So many of them just like that. And you just systematically you do it and you have interaction. Look at the younger ones, you look at the older ones. There are some of your colleagues who are not members. So you have a duty to drag them in. And the way you can drag them is tell them the advantages. Up till now, 5:30 or thereabout, I'll be up. I will read all the latest developments in the industry on daily basis. Because otherwise you'll be obsolete. You can't be a lecturer in the university. You go in there, you are teaching something that we were using 1974 in the university. You'll be obsolete. I'll give you an example. I went for NSC exam in Benin. I just came from the US because after I graduated on Saturday. On Monday morning, I had 8 oil companies giving the job. I didn't have any problem. So, and advert is very important. So, I used to stay in a village near Bigwari. So, cross, get to MP and trek from there to Rubu College every day from class 1 to 3. And in trying to cross the river every morning, you see the big work boat with golf logo on it, very mighty logo. What is this golf? What is this golf? And eventually, I left for the university, ended up in the US, graduated Saturday. I had 8 companies giving me job. ExxonMobil, they are in Eket, Mobil Eket. But golf and share the one we see here. Because of that, I decided to take golf. As I went working for golf. When I came out, the first assignment given to me was fields they produced since 1940 something. They said I should go back and separate the production into the different reservoirs the country. Fields to start producing around 1942. So how do I go about it? And that's where I met a Ganache. Ganache was in the laboratory in Houston. And I was in the area office. So I said, where am I going to do this? And you know about commingling, and they were commingling, doing all kinds of things. So we have to go through essay, that's the signature of each of them, and start doing that. By the time I finished, they said, you have to go to very commission and defend it. So as a young engineer, you appear in court, and you have a chief engineer and whatever. I did the job. But because I wasn't a registered engineer, the chief engineer will do the presentation. Then you say, well, can Alex just explain this? If I stand up, if I sit down, you are not registered. That was what I experienced. So that now forced me to go into. I said, immediately I came to Nigeria, I said, I must be a registered engineer. So I went to write the exam. Where I'm going is, by then, there was no question for petroleum engineers in NS. So you as a PE, you are going to write an exam where you have mechanical engineers, buy enough gas to run core analysis. Professor Ogbe is chemical engineer. So now I'm here in the panel of, I think about 22 of them, civil and all that. And this is supposed to be the man that is an expert. This is the head of petroleum and chemical. Man bumping me to question, said then, why do you use natural gas to run the core analysis? I say, sir, that is obsolete. Because there is no enough gas inside the reservoir. It's oil and water. So it is possible to use the actual fluid that flows through it to run the core analysis of porosity and all. It will be a real representation. But because then they didn't have the facilities, so they were using enough gas. It's a sit down, you are wrong. You don't know what you're talking. You know, I was just confounded. A professor, how am I going to react? And these are very elderly capos in the fields. It's okay. I say, you know what? As a professor, you are supposed to be more knowledgeable than me if you are in this profession. So for you to say this, that it must be nat gas, because they will not need the technology at nearby core analysis now is done with the real reservoir. And you are saying, then I'm not qualified to have an estimate. So that's the advantage. I'm just saying it because up till date, the man said me, he said this was the man that nailed me in the panel. But it's just one of those things. So you can really go out there and among those people that interviewed me, I put about 3 of them just because after that show, they became interested in me. This young man coming in here to do, we need to go near him. Then when I came out, I now saw Dr. Whittiers would see the question your head of department. I said, no, mind now. Because I go there, go ask for this thing, that's why I just used that question. He was baseless about it. So just go out and do what you do best. Talk to people who are within the industry. They will join you. They will join. So it's easy. As a Bukoya and a lot of them. Yemi Akela always made those ones from the University of Ibadan. I talked to Ibadan. And they came out within the short time. And once you get 100, there is an award and there are a lot of things SB will do for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alex, for the response to the questions. Thank you very much as well to the audience for sitting tight and learning from the answers. Now, if you understand very well from the response, you understand that the duty of recruiting more members actually lies on us all. But for me in particular, I would say it's more on the student members than on the senior professionals, because in the student chapters, you have much more opportunity to recruit more from other faculties and disciplines aside of petroleum engineering. And one thing that I want to remind us that Engineer Alex mentioned as well is the fact that I want to put it on the fact that nothing of value is created or stand without principle. And for us as the engineering family, the principle we hold on to is our ethics of practice. And if you listen during his presentation, he has hammered so much on the part where ethical culture as well comes in. So it's been a worthwhile journey so far, sitting and listening from the wealth of knowledge that has been speaking to us. SB, okay. SB, okay. So, going forward, I understand we're a bit cold, so maybe we might need some kind of warm up to help us for the next session. So we'll be going for a short. It's going to take us about 5 to 10 minutes, probably. It's going to be a tea break. So we'll be taking the tea break at the moment now, and I will call on our ushers to help guide. We're going to be starting with the VIPs. So, and it's going to be table by table. Our ushers, please. You will help us guide our senior professionals, our distinguished members that are here. You guide to the tea point as well. So while we're doing that, the DJ will also be helping us with some cool sounds to help us calm our house as well. It's been a great time together. So our ushers, we are up to you. When we are doing that, we can do well to network, especially for our student members. Do well to network around. Senior members are around, young professionals are around. Do well to connect.
I just make SP worry here. Yes, transfer it. Okay. What would like me to do? Make SP worry. Yes. Everywhere. Yes, it's good.
taking the tea break. We should ensure to be back. We should continue in the next 2 minutes. Thank you, DJ, for the sound. Very nice.
Somebody wake me, I'm dreaming. I saw it as a sea, swimming on the stream. The boom, my strength, and on the top was my pop. My mama speaking stop for my single drop. This is what they got. Got to respect my people, but my mom was a loser. Old friend, yeah, my mama was a fucker in the music. But that's a little seed, I can see the plan. Stranded on welfare, another broken family. The roof was out. See, that's mama got pregnant. That pop down, piece of ass, look how it began. Nobody gave a fuck about me, just to live my day. School walk to the top, I cannot survive. Got the last of me. Now, with the road, can't see, in the dark cloud to the project. Ain't no sunshine, no sunny air. Sometimes, I open my window, jump to the street, and get it free. I can live and die, hope I get some money for gone. I'm only 19, I'm
This one will capture everything on stage. Just only let me show you something. Let me start. Oh, stand there like what you do. Stand there like what you do.
Okay.
So you see what we're having. So that's your phone now.
SP.
This one is clearer. Why don't
Let's start finding.
I have
Let's start finding our way
I've so much.
We'll just continue while we are still taking our little bite and our little drink as well. You can do well to check if your seatmate is not yet back. Just put a call or a town or a WhatsApp. Now we're about to continue. Okay, in the meantime, we would like to make this announcement. The owner of the car, WWR, plate number WWR 5518R, we would like you to please do us a favor to park So please make a repack of your car. The plate number again, WWR 551AR. Please, we would like you to repack. Okay, it's a Toyota Corolla, so do well. For those of us that are still hoping that we'll buy our own cars, our plate numbers will come very soon. Okay, let's do well to find our seats, and we'll be continuing in 30 seconds. Okay, for our online participants, let's just to make a check if we're still online.
One, two.
Okay. Thank you. It's such been a great moment thus far. Let's not forget the part of connecting and networking, even amongst yourselves as students, yeah, young professionals. We have senior members here. We have great personalities that you can connect with, and that's part of the opportunity that SP gives. Okay, so we are going to be doing something in 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes, then we continue. Okay, if you can hear me, for our senior members, if you can as well participate. But for our young professionals and student members, please do well to do this. So if you have an Android phone, you can do well to just bring it out, take a selfie of you and your seatmates, yeah, and just post online. You can just hashtag it SPWorry35. Hashtag it as well, SPWorry80s. Just give it a special hashtag. Take a selfie. Okay, I can see some people doing it already. Yeah, let's make the SPWorry35 wave online. Okay, take a selfie of you and others. It should not be only you. Ensure, because one of the things SP give us is the opportunity to connect. So ensure that it's not just you. The people I'm seeing with the phones are not much. Student members, okay. 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 Very nice. Remember the hashtag SPWorry35, SPWorry80s. You can also add we are SP. This is one very important hashtag in SP. We are SP. You can also add SP Connect as well. And while doing that, in case you don't know the person, you can ask for the name and you can ask for where the person is coming from. Okay, so we'll just be continuing at the moment. All right. Just a last time announcement for the car we want to repair. Toyota Corolla with the plate number WWR 551AR. Okay, so we are going to continue now. All right, please, for those of us that are still standing, if you can, please find a seat. We are going to continue now. All right, SB, okay, some of us are still having a bite or two. SB, the energy is very low. What's wrong? SB, okay, I know why some people are not answering already. All right, that's fine. Okay, so we'll be going straight ahead to the next item on our program of events. Okay, and the next that will be taken is going to be the panel session. We have heard so much from the very theme, down to the welcome address from our section chair, also down to the keynote speech by the council chair. And we also heard of the very remarkable achievements that have been recorded so far by a very distinguished professional and how it relates to SB Warri as a section. And now it is time that we sit uptight and to hear through the panel discussion session that we're going to be having. And I can tell you for a fact that so much wealth impacted or imparted in people are the kind and the caliber of persons that has been drawn to serve as our panelists and moderators for the panel session. So I indulge us all to please sit uptight as we participate in the panel session.
Can I proceed? Is it okay for me now? Good morning.
Someone is talking with your correspondent online.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's Dr. Wilfred.
Dr. Kologume on the line. Just asking if it's okay for me to comment.
Okay, Dr. Wilfred, we will call you to kickstart the session in no time. Just stay tuned. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining. All right. So thank you very much once again for staying tuned with us at the ATS Annual Technical Symposium for SB Warri at 35. Lest I forget to remind us all that there's a gala night which is going to be more like a wrap-up for the celebration of SB Warri at 35. So you will do yourself well to also stay back after the ATS proper. All right, so we'll be taking the bio for the moderators who are going to be moderating the panel session and that of our panelists before I invite the moderators to take over. So ITU, please help. And let's not forget that our theme for the ATS is achieving energy security in Nigeria, the role of regulators and industry stakeholders. And to take us in this discussion, we have two moderators. One is with us here physically, and the other is joining us online. And we're going to be taking the bio now, and I will trust that I will do that very fast so that we can continue with the session. Now, one of our moderators who is here physically with us is in the person of Godsday Usiabulu. Apologies in case I did not get the name correctly. So, Ambassador Godsday Idanebe Usiabulu is a proud product of Novena University, Ogume, where he obtained his BSc degree in Energy and Petroleum Studies. He's a lecturer in the Department of Energy and Petroleum Studies and the faculty advisor for SPE Novena University Students Chapter. Godsday holds 2 master's degrees in gas refining and petrochemicals engineering from the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Plus, he is an environmental and petroleum technology management engineer as well, gotten from the South Amazon University, USA. He is a current PhD student of petroleum and gas engineering at the World Bank Africa Center of Excellence in the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Godsday Usiabulu holds 4 ambassadorial awards, which include the African Climate Ambassador, trained and certified by Ancient University, Cairo of Egypt. He was a delegate to COP27, Egypt 2022. Godsday is a youth pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He is a character and career development coach. Godsday is a prolific speaker in both local and international fora. It's a great privilege for us to enjoy his presence. Can we please give a round of applause? Okay. Some people are not biased here. Novena University students. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so to introduce our panelists, okay, pardon me, one of our moderators also joined us online in person of Dr. Wilfred, and he is the HOD of the Petroleum Engineering Department of the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, FRO. Now, before I call on the moderators to take up the introduction as well for our keynote speakers, our panelists, I will also take the bio of the speakers and the panelists before handing over formally to the moderators. So, the bio, please. Okay, so one of our panelists for the session is a person of Engineer Ebere Chukwu Oji. And he joined ND Western as Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer in March 2020. He has over 25 years of experience in the oil and gas sector. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and a chartered engineer with the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, armed with a Master's in Business Administration, MBA, from Warwick University, UK. He also has a Master's in Technology in Petroleum Engineering from the Cotton University in Australia, and a Master's in Engineering under Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and a Bachelor's in Engineering under Electrical and Electronics Engineering from the Universities of Benin and Federal University of Technology, Owerri, respectively. Prior to him joining ND Western, his fields of experience included exploration and production, oil and gas, accountability from reservoir to export point operations as Chief Operating Officer, Nekondo Energy Limited, upstream and midstream oil and gas senior executive leadership, operations management of Nigeria liquefied natural gas and LNG plants, accountable for the 6 train operations. He's also the regional discipline manager for maintenance for Shell companies in Nigeria and Gabon. He's also an asset manager for SPDC that's Shell, Central Hub asset with over 1.2 BSCF per day of gas production and 500 of oil producing facilities. He is going to be one of our panelists for today, but he is represented here by Engineer Lawrence Wajobu, if I call the name right. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing us with your presence. You're very much welcome, sir. Okay, next in amongst our panelists as well is in the person of Engineer Priska Kanebi, who joined us online. She's going to be joining us online for the panel session. Now, I'll be taking her bio as well. Engineer Priska is a petroleum engineer, and she's currently the national chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Petroleum Engineers. She is a registered member of the NSC, COREN, and as well as COREN. She's also a management consultant for the Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM, a risk management professional, a fellow of the Institute of Certified Management Consultants, an oil and gas consultant, and as well a member of various professional bodies within and outside of Nigeria, where she also plays an active role. Engineer Kanebi has over 20 years of industrial experience and postgraduate life. She is encapsulated in her proven record of quality performance in managing organizations and nurturing long-term business relationships with internal and external stakeholders. She is friendly, easygoing team player, of course, and focused business leader. She has gathered experience in various fields of engineering and management expertise. She has also kept herself abreast in her career by attending many local and international workshops and seminars. She's an accomplished engineer, a motivational speaker, and an astute politician. Wow, so much. And a stickler for keeping to time. She has a strong character and an advocate of professionalism and integrity in the engineering practice. She is a core member of NSC who has upheld the ideals of the society to date, a practicing Catholic who loves traveling, reading, and swimming as a recreational sport. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members, please, can we give a round of applause for our panelists. Now, to continue with that, I think I will just hand over to the moderator to introduce the remaining of our panelists and as well continue with the panel session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, MC. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the father of this great industry. We're not just a distinguished fellow, worthy enough to be a father to fathers. And I want to thank everybody for this great privilege to be here and to anchor this section. Please, we would like to continue, but however, my second moderator or my co-moderator is online, and he will like to do a bit of the synonyms, a rundown. So, okay, excuse me. So let me continue with this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Just hold on, please. I can see very clearly, so I need to move very closer, please. All right. Okay, Engineer Wilfred, please just hold on. I'll continue the introduction of the bow of our panelists. The next person we have here is Bowman Brown, who has over 30 years of upstream oil and gas experience. He started his career in the oil and gas industry, first as a field seismologist and seismograph services before joining Shell as oil and gas engineer, for both which he spent 25 years in project technology and asset management. His professional career has been in leadership roles in indigenous oil and gas company. Boma holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Port Harcourt and master's from George Washington University, both in electrical engineering and MBA from Rhodes School of Management. It's a privilege to have you, Boma Brown. Please, attention. Welcome, sir. It's a privilege, sir. Okay, the next panelist is no other person that means Sovechiku Wanchuku is a petroleum economist, supply chain specialist, and participant in EU Energy Net project, which includes a decade experience of working across the downstream and upstream sector of the petroleum industry. She is currently with us online. Thank you. The next panelist, physically present with us here, is engineer Duruji Elvis, who obtained an HND in Petrochemical and Gas at Petroleum Training Institute and proceeded to obtain a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Benin. He is a registered member of Coren and NLC, and of course, NLC chair. He is currently the manager of gas operations at Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, with over 18 years field experience in midstream and downstream oil and gas operation in various capacities as senior assistant chief and chief chemical engineer, monitored 11 domestic gas and export projects within offshore and onshore and land facility. With this great privilege, I welcome to the podium Engineer Elvis Duruji. Please come up, sir. We are not complete. I actually started with that, and it is a privilege. By the time the person I'm going to be introducing now, I'm not introducing him because it's already been introduced, but I'm going to be doing it in my own way. Friends, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, both friends online and present here, they said, anointing you do not honor can never bless you. This is a father of the fathers in this industry. Please, with standing ovation, I'd like us to bring to the podium to join the panel as the chief panelist, our father, Alex Ray. Because it all is not just for the rest of you. Damitaya, please continue. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's a great privilege to have you here. Thank you. You may be seated, please. Thank you. I'd like to bring on board my co-moderator, Dr. Wilfred. I hope you're with us. So please do justice to the synopsis.
All right, thank you. Confirm you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
All right, thank you. Good morning to everyone physically present and those online. Apologies, I would have loved to be there physically, just had some challenges on my way. Having said that, let me first of all seize this opportunity to congratulate the session for marking this day as a day to celebrate our 35th years anniversary. And to say a big thank you and appreciation to our big daddy dear seated, Engineer Alex Ney. We're happy to have you with us. It's a privilege to be one of the few that is moderating a session that you are a panelist. And also to other panel members, I say a big thank you to you for honoring our call. Now, having said that, I'll just go straight to introduce the synopsis. But first, the theme is achieving energy security in Nigeria, the role of regulators and operators. So I may choose to proceed now. Although immensely endowed with natural energy resources, Nigeria, like many African countries, is still faced with energy access issues, even amidst the worries caused by the global craving for energy transition to renewable sources to mitigate climate change concerns. The Nigerian economy depends on the oil and gas sector for cash and energy sources. This posed an energy tremor, an index introduced by the World Energy Council in 2010 on the need to find the balance between energy reliability, affordability, sustainability, and its impact on everyday lives. Experts claim that post-COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war, energy security is the major focus, followed by affordability, while sustainability has moved to the foreground. In today's Nigeria, 80% of installed 13,000 megawatts of electricity generation is from fossil fuels, and about 5,000 megawatts of electricity currently generated can power less than 3,500 homes and industries. The energy poverty in Nigeria creates concerns and have huge impact on sustainable development or green growth. The United Nations Development Program reports that about 97% of Nigerian communities still use firewood for cooking and other activities. Hence, energy security and affordability is very key. Nigeria is termed to be a gas province, as it is estimated as of January 2021 to have about 209.5 trillion cubic feet of associated gas and about 37 billion barrels of oil reserves. However, production is currently below 1.5 million barrels per day. It is expected that the country will utilize the abundant fossil fuel resources to solve our energy poverty. However, this is not the case due to several challenges, including low production level, funding, and security challenges. The low production has been adjusted to be caused by several factors, including poor fiscal, regulatory, and operating environment, which has led to greater exit of major international oil companies and have made funding of fossil fuel projects less attractive. The Petroleum Industry Act of 2021 was put in place to address the issues of policy and framework to realize the effective utility of the abundant resources. To achieve net zero emissions ambitions, therefore, against climate change concerns, countries and major international oil companies are investing heavily in sustainable and clean energy solutions. Paris-based International Energy Agency demands achieving zero emissions from electricity generation in rich countries by the year 2035, and the rest of the world by the year 2050. Nigeria is a signatory to the Paris Treaty and Sustainable Development Goals, committing to net zero ambition plans. Recently, our Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, announced a plan to tackle climate change and deliver universal energy access, which is the SDG Goal 7 by the year 2030 and net zero by the year 2060. This is aimed to lift about 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, driving economic growth, provide modern energy services, mitigate oil sector job losses due to decarbonization. It is projected that Nigeria can generate more than 427,000 megawatts electricity from renewable energy resources alone. The country's energy transition plans and renewable energy roadmap will cost about $1.9 trillion and about 1.2 trillion in ranges respectively. Some analysts rather have expressed concerns about the feasibility of funding this project with public funds due to challenges including historical mismanagement and impact of premium motor spirit subsidy. Additionally, financing renewable energy roadmap is equally challenging with a debt profile of about 77 trillion naira already owed by the country. The 2023 SP Section 104 Warrior Annual Technical Symposium will provide a platform for industry experts to discuss the role of all petroleum industry stakeholders, being it government, regulators, and operators in achieving energy security in petroleum-rich Nigeria, despite all the challenges previously highlighted. Our topic today remains regulators and industry stakeholders' role in policy implementation to realize energy security and sustainable development in Nigeria. And we strongly believe that the team of experts we have making up our panelists will give good justice to this topic, as I welcome back again my co-moderator to take the first round of questions from our panelists. Thank you very much. I hope to come again to guide other sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Clifford. All right, so for us to progress in this section and begin to take questions and responses, please, we will spend about 5 minutes of brief presentation by Iberitu Kuoji, ably represented by Lawrence Wadiogu. Please, over to you for this short presentation so we continue with the panel section.
Permit me to stand on the existing protocol so that I join the train of our previous speakers. The section chairman, JLD, and directors. I would like to tender unreserved apology on behalf of my MD, CEO, Ibiroji, who would have been here, but at the same time, today is celebrating his 50th birthday. Also, so I was supposed to make this presentation within 20 minutes, but for want of time, I'll try and make it as short as possible, probably within 4 minutes. So like the topic goes, operators and industry stakeholders' role in policy implementation to realize energy security, sustainability, and development in Nigeria. And what are the agendas? I will be looking at what are regulators, what are the industry stakeholders, the energy security in Nigeria, sustainability and development plan, then any Western energy contribution. What are the regulators? We have the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Nigerian Electricity Management Service Agency, the Energy Commission of Nigeria, the Ministry of Power, Rural Electrification Agency, NUPRC, which is the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission, and the Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authorities, and lastly, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. I don't think I have to bore with this other slide, which gives us a little highlight of what the functions of these regulators do. So I'll quickly move on to the next slide. For the industry stakeholders, who are these? So we know for sure government plays an active role. Then you have the consumers, the financial institutions, utilities, that is the service providers like the GenCos, generator, the transmitters, distributor companies, and marketers. Then the contractors are the skilled labor, the technical professionals who provide services to support the industry. Then how about the manufacturers and retailers who are meant to provide parts that will help us sustain the energy availability. Then you have the NGOs, and finally the oil and gas producers. Next slide. The next slide, we talk about the energy security in Nigeria. As we know, when we talk about energy security, we're talking about availability of sufficient supplies at affordable prices, right? And our inability to process crude oil domestically for both industrial and domestic use consumption actually has threatened and kept on threatening our energy security. Then we'll also talk about the Council for Renewable Energy in Nigeria, which has estimated that due to our power outages, this kind of losses was suffering about 1.26 billion naira annually. Just to give you an idea of what our inability to provide energy security is costing the country. Then finally, Nigeria has had insecurity as a major problem in the past 3 decades plus, and it's still counting, just like the previous speaker said. And lastly, second to the last slide, which is sustainability and development plan. And so we know that the lifeblood of any economy is based on energy power. And the other one is they are trying to determine the vibrancy of our economy of any nation. And we should look at some of the things we can do in terms of energy policies, strengthening them, revisiting them. Our supply side strategy has to also be reviewed. The demand side strategy as well. These are some of the things we need to do in terms of data gathering to understand what our energy needs are. In the past, we've had issues or controversies where we declare a particular volume of AGO or imported product into the country and we wonder how many are we and how are we consuming them. These are some of the data gaps that we need to close in to help us get our energy sustainability and development right. The other ones are diversification. We need to diversify into other sources of energy. And we also need to have an energy model. As you can see from the experience of the Ukraine-Russian war, because some of the developed countries have built this model, they were able to recover quickly in terms of their energy needs as a result of the disruption and threat from Russia providing gas to Europe. And lastly, we have to build a capacity to grow our energy reserves, right, in terms of having a robust energy security. So finally, as part of my slide, I want us to look at what Energy Western energy contribution is. So with Energy Western. Energy Western is an oil and gas producer with about 90,000 barrels and 600 million scope capacity facilities for both oil and gas. We also operate an Ogbele refinery as NDPR, and I want to use this opportunity to appreciate our leader, energy engineer Alex Ney, for his disclosure here for helping us achieve this while he was in that position to do so. This has actually enabled us as a nation to meet some of the, at least in a little way, our energy demand from that refinery. Currently, we're also planning a mini refinery in Ome 34. And these are some of the things we plan to do. And we're also providing about 350 million scf of gas to the national grid, the Uheli Transcorp power plant, and Delta Glass, just to mention a few. I think this is just a quick way of wrapping up these 5 minutes you've given me. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to, as we proceed, I would like to take the first question, the focus to, I know our father is there as a chief, but by virtue of responsibility, I'd like to pick the first, one of our panelists, Sobechuku. Please, can I find out if you're with us and if you can hear us loud and clear? Our panelists, Sobechuku, please, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. This question goes directly to you, so you do justice to this. We're all here. For what we said, and I'm sure you've read through and you listened to the synopsis, the first question is unlocking the cash cow. There are quite a question that goes around this. With the global push for renewable and cleaner fuel, are these projects strategic for the operators? Apart from the legal issues in some of these projects, what are the other challenges? What are the key levers the government can pull to realize these opportunities? What is the likely impact of the PIA in the short to medium term on these highlighted projects? Talking about unlocking the cash cow for this industry. Over to you, ma'am. Please, can you hear me? Please unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Okay, to address that question, I would like to remind us of the major trend in places like Europe. They are going as far as doing infrastructural changes to make sure that their stranded assets, which is oil, is doesn't end up in a loss, right? So to ask if the businesses we have today, if they are strategic for companies that are operating in the field, I won't say they are not strategic, because we know that one of the key important determinants in the business that we do is technology, right? So I would say that you can make these seemingly non-strategic businesses more strategic by the type of technology that you put in place, right? So we have things like carbon capture technology and other processes that you can put in place to make sure that your stranded assets are sent into the market and that they become clean. And some of the other, in terms of natural gas, you also have things like hydrogen gas, which is big right now in the EU. And you find out that in the EU, that majority of their infrastructure now is being converted to, how would I put it? It's being converted to also serve the hydrogen gas market, right? So you have people like Baker Hughes and other industry equipment manufacturers playing key roles to doing a lot of research and a lot of practices to make sure that they serve their clients, right? Because at the end of the day, whoever that is going out of business as a major oil player is also going to affect them, because they will lose businesses, right? So they also have to stay abreast. So I think another way to make these businesses remain strategic is to marry your equipment or infrastructure providers, right? So that you make sure that you're abreast with the trends in terms of state-of-the-art technology that can help you maximize your stranded assets. And then in terms of the other question, sorry, did you remind me the second and the third? Hello? I can't hear you.
I'm of the school of the thought that Nigeria will be better again and again, just like our father proclaimed this.
Okay, I can hear you now, please. Go ahead.
All right, and we're coming up. If you can hear me, so you want me to repeat the question number two?
The second and the third questions, please.
Oh, all right. Let me just pick that. So you put in the fourth one, so that Daddy will take care of that here. Apart from the legal issue in some of these projects, what are the challenges, other challenges? Then the third question is, what are the key levers the government can pull to realize these opportunities?
Okay, right. Thank you very much. To address the second question on legal issues, right? And to enhance the situation, because a lot of work has to be done, internally in Nigeria in terms of our policies and how favorable, they are to make these business investors recoup their capital and make their businesses profitable, right? So we know that Nigeria currently is experiencing a lot of issues that make the oil and gas business very unprofitable right now. So some of the things, like I was thinking about it some days back, and I thought of now is a period where gas is very strategic, and we've been saying, oh, era of gas in Nigeria. And then something that hasn't really been addressed is the issue of, we know how we have non-associated gas and associated gas, right? And majority of Nigerians' current production or supply of gas is from the associated gas, right? And you find out that the laws that we have in place currently don't really benefit the people that have non-associated gas fields, or to encourage seeming investors to invest in exploration and production for non-associated gas fields, right? Because for associated gas is just a byproduct, and you find out that oil revenues cover up for majority of the costs, right? But where you have a non-associated gas field, your only source of revenue is the gas you're producing, right? So, and the prices are not the same, So producing laws that, how would I put it, giving people that have associated gas fields and non-associated gas fields the same platform in terms of legal policies and
thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. You a few minutes. You really just gone in depth, and we're grateful. Please, can we applaud her? Thank you. Thank you. I would like to quickly. I understand that we have one of our panelists, and while reading about, I heard about that she's even though she's the chair of this one of the very responsible industry. Institution for this industry, is also a politician. I will be coming back to you immediately after now. I will try and do a kind of leaping. But this first aspect, since Daddy, you made a presentation, while you were in the presentation, you referred to this PIB translated into PIA. So, sir, I would like you to use this to just coin this part of what Soberchikin has just presented, and the rest of. Sir, what is the likely impact of the PIA in the short to medium term of this highlighted projects?
Well, I think the intention of the PIB from PIA is this industry. I remember way back in '79. You can go to any of the bricks and see the those men why they are drilling. Or whatever with them. but everything transformed to a point where if you try it now, you kidnapped. So first and foremost, the essence of the PIA or PIA is to remove these bottlenecks, because if people themselves feel part of the industry, I have no reason to keep anybody. The situation where you are in water, you are suffering from drought, that is what has led to all this. Because I can tell you free charge, we go to Kula and all these places. I go to all these places and my helicopter there and shut down the village, go and see them. Nothing happens. So I told them my need to create where the people will feel they have some ownership. And that's where I still go to NG Western. When Aret Adams came up with the idea, I sat down with him and discussed. I said, look, if you give just 3% or whatever to the community as their own share of this whole thing, they will be the one to supervise your pipes and make sure nothing happens. And that's the model we use. Ubele is just one small village. You know, by the time we awarded the field to Nigeria, Ubele was like, I don't know how many houses can count the place, but go to Ubele today. Because they make the people part of the business, there's money going into the accounts. If the oil does not flow, they know they are losing money, they are losing things. So they are committed. All these problems you have in Niger Delta, not one pipeline of ND Western was touched. Because they know there's a pinhole, they lose something. So that's the whole concept. And today you find out that it has now become a culture. Whether it's the army, the police, everybody wants to make money. That's one of the disadvantages. When you have security guards like armed men guarding you and all that, you know what happens? They keep you on high tension. People will not go here. If you go there, they will kidnap you. So you are just like a rat inside a cage, being tailored. The places you want to, if you near there, you know, so it's a booming business for the security agents. And what is that doing? It increased the cost of operation of the industry. So look at the budget of the industry today. There's nothing you do, you must put substantial amount on site for security. You want to be able to escorts, you get naval escorts. You get that escort. Is it free? No. So the government has a responsibility. Best to, you know, to save life and property. Give you protection. That protection is gone. So you are paying money. You want to drill a well that will cost you maybe those days like 8 million or whatever. You see well you want to drill today, no, 25 million. Go and look at what it costs in terms of security and all that. These were part of the things we put together and said, look, there is need for the PIB, which becomes PIA. That way, everybody know what road. The government has the road. It's not the duty of the oil companies to start parading soldiers, navy, all around their facilities. That's not their job. This is the job of the federal government. But now it's a booming business. If you're going to do it now without them being around, you can't go anywhere. Thank you so much. So that's the whole concept of the PIB and PI, to ensure that everybody take their responsibility. The regulators are there. The government will have a responsibility to protect the people wherever they are working. It's not their duty to spend money. So when you go to an NPC, it's okay. We are drilling this well, it's going to cost us this. When you look through, you're going to see money for security. And they are paying money to governments. They are paying money. Educational levy, this one levy, all that levy. What is the money used for? We have to ask ourselves. So the PIA is operated the way it is and let everybody take responsibility of their duties. It will be easy. But I still have my doubt. We are watching. Because even the so-called communities that are involved, some of them up till now, they've not been able to set up a build. 1 year after, BOT have not been set up. Just mentioned it to you, like the OML 34. As we speak, no BOT, no registered company. So we have 1 whole year gone. What does that mean? It means the people, they say, well, these guys, they are tricking us. They just put this thing in paper and whatever. There must be credibility. If you say something as a government or as a country, we must be able to stand by it and make it work. So let everybody take their own piece of the PI and hold their responsibilities and do what that document is saying. There's no double dipping. I shouldn't be in the position running an oil company and be running a security outfit or a military. No, everybody have their duty. Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy. Please, can we applaud Daddy for that response? Thank you, sir. Integrity and responsibility is everybody's responsibility. Please, can we, I just got a message from online. Our panelist online is about to take up from where she is. So please, let's quickly take this question to her, please. Question number 3, please, I don't know if you are with us. Engineer Priska, can you hear us? Please, Engineer Priska, if you can hear us, please let us know.
I said, can I come in here while we're waiting to get confirmation from Engineer Priska?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. So far, good questions, good responses. But I think this should be a good way, following from where our elder senior in the industry, Engineer Ni, left it, looking at implementation of the content of the PIA. That will bring us to the next round of questions, which has to do with government plans for alternative energy. I think I'll take this first to Engineer Elvis, and if Engineer Priska is on the call, she could as well respond.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. So we'll do this way. I'll put the question through, but I'll take first response. Okay, since you're online, we'll take first response from you. Then I'll take the response from Engineer Elvis if you want to add to this. And it's built around government plans for alternative energy. Now, this plans usually requires funding, understanding the challenges faced by business, organizations, and individuals in balancing these 3 core elements of energy trilemma, which specifically are reliability, affordability, and sustainability. These are vital in achieving goals such as the net zero. The question now is this goal achievable in Nigeria? What's your perspective? So you go, Madam.
Okay. This is my perspective, really. Nigeria should invest in renewable energy as part of the expansion of our energy mix, not to meet expectation of energy transition or net zero. For Nigeria, net zero should not be a priority. We are too poor to jettison our fossil fuel production to please the United Nations. After all, we are not a major polluter, as we contribute very little to the CO2 emissions being compared of. We need our hydrocarbon resources now more than ever because it continues to be for us the goose that lays the golden eggs. That is my own view concerning this. Thank you.
Very concise and straightforward. Engineer Elvis, any contributions to you on this so that I'll give you a different question, but I would love to hear your input here, specifically because from the composition of the panel, it seems you are the one directly representing the voice of government, working for the regulators. What's your opinion with regards to achieving net zero in Nigeria?
Thank you. Yeah, the last speaker, I think very much agree with her. So far, from the regulatory point of view, how far have we done? The journey so far, you can see to a large extent as a country, we've done well. About 20 years ago, our flare was almost about 20% and above. Today, we are doing within 8% because of programs, strategic programs, the ACFA, where associated gas were to be rejected, to be used, integrated into the upstream, so that so many operators will have to join. There has been a lot of that was what brought in the NLNG, so many gas projects, gas processing facilities. They are on, so they'll be able to mop up most of the associated gas and reduce drastically the flare. Again, the gas commercialization program, again, to go at the flare points to pick out those gas that otherwise would have been impacting negatively on the environment, are being used for utilization people. So many progress have gone. Today, we are now in an era of the decade of gas. Again, to further deepen the utilization of gas. Again, the PIA, it's clearly a big document solution that if it is well implemented, I tell you, we'll go further below this 8% flare. And again, it's not just only within the upstream and the midstream, we're tackling it even down to the end users, the heavy users of diesels, automobiles, and all that. How we can be able to use gas as a transition energy to bring, if we can be able to reduce as much the heavy users of diesels and all that, we can bring this figure down. Just like we said earlier, we're a poor nation, and the world is aware. Our timeline will change. Instead of 30 years like the big countries, 50 years. So we'll take our time to come up with strategic plan and see, take this window of the decade of gas and see how far we can go. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Engineer Elvis. I understand Engineer Boma is still on standby, so we'll make this much more interactive. So far, the responses are geared towards the need to harness our natural gas resources to be our target for the energy transition. Which makes me believe that investments will have to be put on R&D. How best we can get technologies in place that will help drive this, especially domestication of technology. Having said that, that's just on the way on the sideline. For still around the government plans for alternative energy, this will go to Engineer Boma. What do you think are the key levels the government and regulators can put to realize this goal? Looking at net zero too, we're still looking at the role of government. What do you think are the key levels that government should be looking at? Yes, we know we have PIA. We have the NOGIC Act, which gave rise to SCDMB, that's the Nigeria Content Development Board. What do you think? Just your opinion. What do you think can help us drive this further? Coming from the point of government and regulators also. Thank you.
Thank you. I think let's put context first. The context of energy security, and as the council chairman said, the 4 A's, we need to look at it from the country perspective. Now, when you talk about energy, I think some of us try to narrow it down to the oil and gas or the electricity sector. That makes the content very low. In terms of our energy consumption, that accounts for about 20% of the total country energy consumption. When we look at our demographic, the issue is that about 80% of our energy consumption is firewood, biomass in this country. And so we need to look at it from the country perspective and formulate our policies without narrowing it down to we, to we, the class, the upper class. Because sometimes we make solutions based on the optics of our own environment. So I think the problem is that if we're using 80% of our energy for biomass, the issue is that deforestation comes in. That is a context. That is a renewable. And so we need to look at it from the perspective that we need to do afforestation. We are in an area, our regional area is so good to do the afforestation that it becomes a renewable paradigm. The other aspect is that we are now going to use gas. We need to use gas, and we need to bring in gas technology. This country has been using gas for a long time, very long time. The issue is basically the disconnect between private capital efficiency and government capital efficiency. The government capital has been very inefficient, and the demand that drives the market in Nigeria with respect to gas is the government capital. And so you see the government inefficiency building it. And so the decoupling of the government capital from the market forces will play a key role. Where I'm coming from is that the demand for gas in this country is driven by formerly NEPA, which is the electricity sector. And we see that the electricity sector has not been an efficient market. We've tried to use, special funds and other things. We've tried to, decouple the generation from the distribution system, but we also see that the transmission system is also a discontinuity. And so we need to look at it from that perspective and say, from end to end, how do we make the market to be very efficient? So the policies that the regulators and all the stakeholders need to do is, look, how can we improve efficiency and drive down the cost? But in terms of, energy suits, yeah, we are there and we can really do that. Nigeria is energy dependent as a country. We have the fossil fuel, we have the renewables, we have the hydro, well distributed in this country. It's just a matter of coherent approach to energy and looking at it from a holistic point of view. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Engineer Gosde, I'll soon let you take charge, but just one round of questions coming from me before you take the next two questions. Then we'll see how we'll wrap it up. But good enough, when we talk about some of these policies, implementations, and how we intend to drive home these plans, I don't think some of these things can be achieved without talking about funding. That brings me to the next round of questions. The funding challenges, looking at the rising debt profile of our country, the increasing cost of borrowing. Now, with this increasing cost of borrowing that we're experiencing, and also the increasing petroleum subsidy and poor economic indices, does Nigeria need to borrow more money to finance its energy transition plan and fossil fuel development? Please, this, I know I've not mentioned any person's name, but I would love Gosde to direct it to one of the panelists seated there. Then hopefully the next round of questions will get it directed to someone online.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Lawrence, please can you attend to that before we go back to Engineer Lawrence?
All right, thank you for that question. So I'd like to talk from our experience as a gas producer. It's a very, very critical and important question. Not until you're in the business of drilling a gas well, having a legacy of debt due to off-takers not being able to pay back for the volume of gas consumed as a result of the discos, and we, the consumers, not able to remit money back to the system. The discovery is so discouraging to develop a gas field for the purpose of making revenue in the business. So for us, we're just fortunate that our gas comes with condensate. So it is that condensate that gives us the little response. While it takes us a minimum of about 2 to 3 years to get value for money for gas sold today. So you can see the precarious situation. So what we need to do here is to see how we can bottleneck the chain from generating power to marketing, such that there will be seamless flow of funds from those who consume back to those who supply. And I think one way we can do that is to have some policies in place that will also empower some independent, good enough, the current government, I think last month, has empowered the state governments to go into also power business. And so it's no longer the sole prerogative of the federal government. And so that's where we think we should we should all pay a fair share for the gas, for the power we consume, and the distributors and the transmitters should be able to remain accordingly their revenue and their cost of power gas consumption. This will enable us, imagine drilling a gas well for about $25 million. How much are you going to sell the gas and how much are you going to get in return? So when you add the numbers and do the economics, it doesn't add up, it will never. Why? Because one, you still have legacy debt. Two, you're not selling at the international market, right? And secondly, you'll be forced to wait for as much as 2-3 years for you to recover the gas money you sold or you pump into the mine 3 or 4 years. So these are some of the challenges. And I think strategies that we can also adopt to enhance and encourage us to have gas reserves to develop. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to please. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you. I just want to give specifics. When I talk about the market efficiency, I think most of us know about that Jakarta state plant. There was a gas plant built to supply gas to Jakarta, which is over. So if you are an upstream investor and you take private capital to build a gas plant at Togo, this is how many years? Jakarta never came to be. So you can understand the enormity of the problem with respect to when I said about government capital. That was the main problem. I think in the 90s, I was in charge of your Toro group, and I will tell you, when we go for meeting, without putting numbers, NEPA was owing us a mountain of debt. And the nearby, the bitter glass. So that time, their own payment was tied to the energy equivalent of diesel, and they don't owe us. You can see the stark contrast between private capital efficiency and government. My previous career also, I will tell you, the government that we were supplying gas to owed us for 12 years. 12 years they never paid. So it's as a private capital, as an investor, I think we really need to look at how the market can be very efficient. My brother who works in LNG, most of us are here talking about LNG as a big cash cow. But you have to understand that LNG is supplying a different market. It's an export market, and the market is efficient, and investors are putting money. Trains 1 to 6, and you have not taken FID on train 7. And I will tell you that every day, more than 2 billion stock of gas is supplied to LNG, and the domestic market doesn't get half of that. That tells you the enormity of the problem. We need to make our domestic market to be efficient, and we will attract the capital that's required. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Wilfred?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Beautiful responses thus far, very engaging, especially when it has to do with specific. So I think we'll bring back Engineer Priska. Let's look at let's look at another aspect of our discussion. This will have to do with most likely looking at feasible pathway to energy security in Nigeria. Let's look at feasible so that it doesn't look as if we keep complaining, identify the problems, but let us provide solutions as part of our discussions here. Now, how can we work around this? Is there a middle ground when we talk about looking at feasible pathway to energy security in Nigeria? Please, Anya Priska, we'll need your response, your opinion on this. What do you think is the middle ground? We are looking at feasible pathway to energy security in Nigeria.
Can you still hear me? Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, let me contribute to the initial issue concerning funding before I answer this one. I rather feel that rather than borrow, Nigeria should be more aggressive in opening up the industry through more allocations and downstream industrial projects for processing most of all our other crude oil and natural gas industrial products. That way, wealth is created in country and fossil fuels are put to good use, realizing money for the government, providing wealth and jobs for businesses and the people, and addressing our energy poverty before the next zero targets of 2050 set by the Paris Treaty. Now, in answer to your question, for Nigeria, the first option I gave is key. While she may invest peripherally in renewable energy, there is no middle ground. We should focus on realizing all the possible values and opportunities from exploiting our fossil fuels. Thank you.
Please coming up, brother.
Quite concise, almost similar to the first, just direct and straight to the point. Interesting response. Although as a moderator, I don't have an opinion, but I'm tempted to say that I'm being skewed into some of your texts, which means that instead of throwing out what we have presently as a country, we should also look at better ways we can harness it. Since the discourse is all about the carbon that is being emitted, do we have better ways in terms of investment in technology, how we can burn fossil fuel clean to reduce the emission challenges that comes from it? I think that should be a discourse for another forum. Having said that, I just want to run out of this, but before I do that and hand over back to Gosday, I think this question will likely take responses from each of the panelists, hopefully for 30 seconds each. What do you think the regulator is doing to engender transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy at the last mile of the value chain? This will just take it random opinions from all, then I'll hand over to Gosday to close the section. But note, I might not be able to have the opportunity to speak again, but before you take response to this question, I will further want to once again appreciate your responses thus far. They are very brilliant, and I believe the recordings from these proceedings, if transcribed and taken to the appropriate quarters and implemented, or some of our opinions adopted, I believe we'll get some of our policy decision right. Thank you very much, and please your response.
Okay, thank you. So, if you recall, some kerosene used to be one major household fuel of choice. But along the line, the issue of subsidy was knocked out of the DPK, which is kerosene. And we know our aviation sector really needs it desperately. Now, what happened in the LPG? Suddenly, the LPG became the dominant household energy of choice. And there was a dramatic increase or rise. Within 10 years, it moved for more than 600%. Today, we're doing 1.4 million metric tons of LPG is being used domestically. So what that simply means, there was a policy in the right direction. Today, we're not struggling with the fact that PMS, which is fuel currently used by most vehicles in Nigeria, is highly subsidized. Is there anything we can do? Can we get a message from what happened with TPK? How one single policy can drive the gas as a transition fuel? So what is the regulator doing? End user. The end user is the sector that will trigger the demand, the market. I mean, we look forward to having a nation where we have a net exporter of our hydrocarbon resources. Gas at 208 TCF, making us number one in Africa, ninth in the world, shouldn't just be a name tag. This will have a window in the next 10 years to begin to use this gas to develop our industry, our country, to be the Dubai of this world. If the PIA is well implemented, I speak, if it is well implemented, there are a lot of solutions there, including funds, the midstream, downstream, infrastructural funds, the remediation funds, the exploration frontier funds. All these things are to trigger energy security. Issues that have to do with fiscal, the issue challenges we have with the fiscal and regulatory concerns that affected our production down. Those issues will be well taken care of. So, end users, what is happening within the domestic market as of today? I can comfortably tell you most of the industries in the north, there are moribund that are dead. Today, they are being activated by LNG. There is a company driving that. Last year, we used almost 200,000 metric tons of LNG domestic market, and it has made it very attractive for LNG. They are now looking for our domestic market. So if we continue to drive that, where gas will replace diesel, mobile industries, we will get it well, we'll get it right within this decade of gas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes,
okay, thanks, last week. It's great. I would like us to go back to the 4 A's. The 4 A's are very important because they also play key dynamics in our behavioral pattern. And I would say that we have to, because my experience has also shown that government policies can really make people to behave the other way around. I know that a lot of us know, the incursion in our lines, especially local refineries, domestic refineries. Based on my own view, you will know that there is a strong correlation between the government deregulation of the diesel market and the immediate upsurge in incursion into petroleum product, because our crude oil needed to go minimal process to get the diesel distillate out. And that was a major issue. And you know what? It even attracted bank funds because we saw it. As an asset manager, I got calls from people, I'm being specific, telling me, please allow us so that we can look for our money because the banks are also after us. That's the way. Yeah. So you need to understand that regulation needs to, when you're putting up your regulation, you need to make sure that the market is there for people to easily get products. When there was scarcity of PMS, and I will also tell you that condensate was a hot product when there was severe scarcity. And that's why I said the 4 A's play key role and how government sees, their role in it. But we need to still go back to the basics, look at the data, use the data for our policies. Let us not narrow ourselves to our own immediate environment as basis for national policy. It will do us a lot of good so that we can then have the complete energy mix that will move us forward. Let us separate cash cow, because export is cash cow for the federal government. That is not the main thing, that's not the GDP driver. It's the energy consumed in this country that will be the GDP driver. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Over to that.
There was the question the lady asked about how do we generate revenue with all the loans we take. Indeed, what you're discussing. Yes, sir. That's something that we can dodge. How? It's one thing to translate. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and do this. Where is the money? When she said it, everybody just avoiding the thing. But my equal characteristic and said what the truth. Nothing at stake. First and foremost, if we are prudent. We have no business to be going on. Because we have what it takes. Nigerians are very smart. They are very creative. But the fundamental issue with borders and all these corrupt practices has drained us to the bottom, to the point that we decide to start doing and borrowing and borrowing. It's like I have now, I go and borrow money at this age. If I cannot pay, what's going to happen? Absolutely, sir. So people should realize that there's nowhere in the world people don't work towards having something for generations to come. But instead, we are packing loads on the next generation. Let me take whatever I can take. So that question she mentioned is very important. You want to do all the things in the world. Where is the money? You know, there's a certain level you borrow money to that people you go to borrow money, they tell you, I'm not giving you money. That means you have maxed out. We are working towards that maxed out situation. IMF, World Bank, this and that. But it's never too late. That's why I'm very optimistic. But after the election, let us see what's going to happen. Whoever is going to run this country must go back to the drawing board. If you don't go back to the drawing board, you're going to be in a mess of the highest order. Because you cannot continue. First and foremost, it is true we want to go to zero carbon. We want clean air, we want everything to. Most of the people polluting the world, they're the Western world. China, US. What we have here is our own problem, because it's like you have a refinery here. Somebody is there operating the refinery. I'm at right, maybe do or somewhere. Come in, I can see a black plate. What is that telling us? Whoever is running that station is defrauding the people and is defrauding the country. But what causes suit? It's overflow of liquids into the burner. And do you know the number of scrubbers you have in the system before it gets to the point of burning? So somebody is negligent. At Tutorogo there, it happened. Even when Babu was here, I would see, that flare from a phone roundabout. I'll take a picture of it and send it to him via WhatsApp. So you guys just don't know what you're doing. Because that shouldn't happen. By the time I drive from the full roundabout, if I get to near the refinery, the black suit is gone. What does that mean? It means we as technicians or engineers running this place, we just not doing what we're supposed to do. So all those little things add up to the mess we find ourselves. And remember, I keep saying it. No foreign investor is here to look at your bridges. They are here to make money. If they have to blanket you to get the money, they will. Get it very clear. And nobody comes to your house to dominate you unless you want to be dominated. So the issue at stake, we want to come to zero flare also by 2050. These are the things we are aiming at. Where is the money? Are we going to continue to borrow money? So there is need for a complete re-engineering of our processes at the government level, to the operational level. And I keep telling people, no matter where you are working in this country, for any major oil company or whatever, you are a Nigerian first before you become an employee. You are a Nigerian first before you become an employee of that organization. If the boat here sink, you're going down. the organization has a fallback position. And that's why I used to tell our MD, I said, I'm a Nigerian before I became an engineer, before I started working for Chevron. If we do things that are ethical, all to get by and everything, 4 years time, the MD will go and see, I've retired now, I'm worried. You can trace me to the place where I live. Those guys, you can't trace them. And as such, every Nigerian should have it in their brain that you have a responsibility to this country. You are used from conventional things, and you think you can go away. One day, karma will catch up with you. We all went through school, we all know what to do. There is no Nigerian that is a fool, but the greed factor and all these small corrupt things is what has brought us to this point. So we must deal with that and realize that we are borrowing to a point where there will be refusal to borrow us money. I think at that point we will sit down and start doing our thorough work. It's like we are all sitting down here. Some of the things you're doing that's getting us into trouble, I know, and you know. This one, no. But well, let's back up this thing to move forward. I think that's why I said any new government coming in must do a proper re-engineering of this country for us to get out of the mess we find ourselves. But the mess we find ourselves is self-inflicted by ourselves. We have no business going out to borrow money. Over 25 years we've been talking, it is easier for us to refine our products, sell refined products out, you generate work, you getting more foreign money based on final products. But again, you have the competitors. You don't want to build a refinery or whatever, they want the crude. So Nigeria as a nation must sit down and draw the line. Where do we want to go?
Can anybody hear me? Because I can't hear sound from my end.
So yes, we can hear you. Yeah, we draw the line, where do we want to go? Continuous borrowing or the engineer system whereby our borrowing go down and start doing things. Because the knowledge level in this country, both outside and here, is enough to destroy the world. Nigeria has what it takes. Both people outside and people in here decide to do the right thing in this country. Thank you. So that is what I would plead that everybody should look at. Whoever comes in have to engineer this system so that we can stop this borrowing, live within your means. I kept saying it over and over. The Biafrans fought a war in this country and well till the war ended. How were they able to? I was still in secondary school. So there were no refinery anywhere. They were able to get the crude and turn it to whatever they needed to run their machines, their vehicles. We'll be making Ogogo for thousands of years without knowledge of physics or chemistry. So what are we talking about? Now, we are more educated people. They have the capability. Let the government do the re-engineering to utilize these brains to achieve our goal without us dabbling around looking for funds like we talk all over the place. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Engineer Wilfred, Dr. Wilfred, please. All right. All right. Thank you for the time. We want to quickly use this opportunity to appreciate everyone, both our panelists online and the one physically present here. Your contributions are quite important and valuable to us. We have seen the practical, we've seen the theory and experience all mixed together. Well, a round of applause, please. Can we applaud our panelists as we return to their seat? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello, please. Just. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that very, very impactful session. It's been so much thus far through the 8 years. And we are so grateful for our panelists who have devoted so much time to come over to the annual technical symposium, both online and those here physically as well. We are so grateful, and thanks as well to our moderators for giving us such a great moderation of the panel session. We are so, so thankful. In the meantime, we want to encourage us all. So SPE Worry as a section, we are not just by name, we are actually online. So you can do well to engage with SPE Worry section online, either on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. You can just make a quick search of SPE Worry on LinkedIn, and you can also make an ad search of SPE Section 104 on Instagram, and you will do well to engage as well. Share your posts and tag the section via the digital outlets to be very, very interesting. And we are also thankful. So far, since when we started, if you notice, there have been some set of people that have helped us with keeping the place in order and everything, guiding our activities and all. We are so, so thankful. Can we give a round of applause to the PTI students for such a very, very wonderful ushering of the activities for today? We are so thankful. Okay, going forward, I will be calling on the chairman for the ATS committee, in person of Engineer Tammy, for the vote of thanks. Let's not forget while he's coming up that we still have a very, very big event yet again, to continue in the spirit of ATS by 3. Yeah.
Because I'm not a politician, I will do like my elders have done, standing on all existing protocols, so that I don't make a mistake in protocol. I want to do a vote of thanks, but before then, I just want to implore our panelists, if you don't mind, can just please come forward. Let's take a photo shoot so that after the vote of thanks, we can close. So please, panelists. Then after the panelists, senior professional members can join the panelists. Section chair, you know, you have to be in that shot as well. Unfortunately, the panelists online, you can't join. I'll ask IT to do a Photoshop, photo crop, and put it in. Board members, please. Let's take our board member. Also, Charles, can you join? Is Tracy here? MC. Thank you very much for the photo shoot. Thank you. I just want to use this opportunity. If you can have your seat, just 2 minutes and we're done. So thank you, my panelists. So to close, this hall, yesterday I was speaking with a few people and saying this hall brings a lot of nostalgic feeling to me because my career in the oil and gas industry started here almost 23 years ago, somewhere around there. This hall used to be a very small hut where we had I was part of the Shell Intensive Training Program in Tenants back in 1999-2000. And there was a Catholic church here, and then we used to have our fellowship here in this hall. So I was in this Ejeba estate for one year. Section chairman also was here. So really this hall is part of, I have a nostalgic feeling being here and working in this area for almost 10 years before I went back to Port Harcourt. So indeed, part of what Aleni talked about, the things we need to do, we got quite a lot of things correct in this country and we need to go back there. In closing, I just wish to start by appreciating our resource persons, our panelists, starting with our elder engineer Alex Ney, the panelists Omar, Brown, Lawrence representing a very Iberioji here. We have Elvis Duruji, dying minutes. We had to come in to help because we had 3 of our panelists drop 2 days to the event. So these are like lifesavers that came in to really provide that background. Online, we have Engineer Sobechuku and Priska also coming in to support. Virtually, even though they couldn't be here in person, have Wilfred, and then also Gosby quickly coming and stepping into role as moderators. So really wish to thank you guys for all you've done. And then when we talked about the presentation, the technical presentation for the ATS, my program chairman, Dr. Eddie, said, hey, I don't want the normal technical program supported by the section chairs. We need somebody that understands the history and that will give us the history. Because part of our Warrior 35 was to let people know the history, how SPE warriors impacted not just the industry, the warrior and the environment. And the only person we all unanimously agreed on that can provide that perspective, because whenever there's an opportunity to sit near him in meetings, Olef, Naes, you go and sit near him and you hear this kind of stories that he gave today, what war stories and what they did. So we all agree that our father, engineer Alex Ney, was the best person to do that, and you can see that we weren't wrong. He did justice to that role. Thank you, sir. Very well appreciated. The guys that paid our bills here, MPDC 26, represented by someone I call my elder brother, Engineer Puma Brown. Thank you very much. other sponsors, even MD Western can see our sponsors for the Warrior 35. We have even PTI, DM Sheffield, Northwap, HEPNA, HPEC. We just want to thank you. You guys are the reason why we're still a section, like Engineer Lex said, growing. We still need more, like Oliver Twist. We'll still be coming to you in subsequent events. We still want to increase our professional membership as well. So even members within your companies want to take this. I want to hit my 100. So please, I'll be coming to you guys to hit my 100. So also to use this opportunity to appreciate the committee, the ATS committee. Thanks for all you do. Tirelessly meeting at very odd hours. You come back from work, we come to you. Thank you for all you guys have done. All the other teams that provided service, venue, entertainment. Thank you very much. I appreciate the IT team, Christian, Publicity, Dolapo, you guys and your team. Thank you very much. And we'll continue to disturb you guys. Be ready for us until this whole event is over. Thank you very much. You have a lovely day. Please, we're back here in a few minutes time. We'll just set up the hall to kick off the gala. Thank you, MC.
Thank you very much, ATS Planning Committee Chair, for SPA Warri at 35, 2023. Okay. All right, very, very important announcement. Very important, yeah. Because after such very gigantic events, we love to create memories, like I mentioned earlier. So please, immediately after our stepping out from the hall, there's a red carpet photo shoot that will be taking place just behind here. So once we are out from here, do find your way. But please, for our student members and young professionals, let's allow the senior members to find their way out before we follow on. And before we go as well, in just about 5 minutes, we would like okay, and another one coming just now is immediately after we close as well, before we go behind for the red carpet photo shoot, we would like everyone, yes, our senior members in front, then our young professionals and student members behind. Let's just have a very spectacular, with the S and P and E caps, SPE spectacular picture here that we can use to make waves as well, and to tell the world that, hey, we've been making impact. It's not today that we start. Okay, so, and as well, there will be light refreshments that will be dropped on our tables as well. Do well to just stay a little bit, like a minute or two, and just have it immediately after the direct photo shoot here. So I will invite this, the senior members, the section chair, board members, and the senior members together up to the stage for the bigger version of the pictures before we go outside. All right. Okay.
There's a connection here. Don't worry, let's take it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
All right, section chair and our senior members, our daddy. Oh, for me, he's actually a grandfather now. Okay. All right. Yes, I can see some people snapping pictures. That's nice. Okay, so others, can we please join behind our senior members that are here? Can we please come up fast? If I were you, I would have rushed up to be immediately after the senior members so that we'll see your face. I are delaying. All right. Thank you very much, DJ. Very nice sound. And our photographer as well, Jude Shorten. And our DJ event lead on Edge. Do well too. Yeah. You can hear the song that the DJ is playing. They say, I need you. But for us, we need SP. So do well to stay with SP. And do well to stay with us for the gala. Don't go. I promise you the gala is going to be such a huge one. And you might not want to miss it. Okay, I can see some innovative ways of taking pictures here. Cheers, well done. Some of our short